Welcome to Bytewise, your ultimate destination for all things tech. While we're living our normal lives these past weeks, history was being written about 400,000 kilometers above our heads. For many people watching this, the Apollo missions are something we only know from history books. Some were not even born when humans first walked on the moon. But this time, we're not looking back, we're living it. Artemis is our generation's return to deep space. On April 10, 2026, the Artemis II mission officially concluded with a perfect splashdown, marking a monumental achievement for technology enthusiasts worldwide.
Booster ignition and liftoff. The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon.
It was a 1.1 million kilometer stress test of the critical hardware and software needed to establish human presence on the moon. But space is hard, and this mission was far from a smooth ride. Behind the stunning photos, the crew managed a series of technical failures that reminded us just how dangerous deep space can be. Early in the flight, the service module experienced a valve leak in its propulsion system. Then, the drinking water system and propellant systems both developed issues. Even the high-tech toilet failed. Now, just think about that for a moment. You're hundreds of thousands of kilometers away from Earth, and even the simplest systems start failing. There's no quick fix, no stepping outside for help. Everything depends on what you brought with you. As astronaut Christina Koch put it, you cannot explore deep space without making sacrifices and taking real risks. And if all that sounds intense, the most dangerous part of the mission had not even happened yet. The biggest risk, however, was the one that we could not see until the very end. The heat shield. During the uncrewed test flight in 2022, it lost chunks of protective material into space. For Artemis II, NASA had to modify the entire re-entry path because they feared the shield might crack or melt through. If the Orion capsule had hit the atmosphere at the wrong angle, even by a fraction of a percentage, the heat shield would have failed, leading to a total loss of the crew. Unlike missions of the past, Artemis II employed a hybrid free return trajectory. Think of it as using the natural pull of gravity as a safety net. After the Space Launch System executed the lunar injection maneuver, Orion followed a path shaped by the gravity of the Moon and the Earth. This was not just efficient, it was critical for safety. Even if the propulsion system had failed completely, gravity alone would have guided the crew from the Moon to the Earth. During the mission, the crew reached a distance of 252,756 miles from Earth, surpassing the world record set by Apollo 13. To put that into perspective, that's further than most humans have ever traveled in history. At that distance, our planet would look like a small glowing marble in the darkness of space. But for those of us who love data, the real highlight was the Orion Optical Communication System, or O2O. For the first time on a crewed lunar mission, NASA tested advanced laser communication. The system achieved downlink speeds of up to 1.2 gigabits per second. That's enough to support high-definition video, essentially creating a form of deep space internet, even as the crew dealt with system alerts and equipment issues. The hardware itself was a remarkable feat of engineering. The Space Launch System generated 8.8 million pounds of thrust. Imagine 160,000 car engines roaring at once to propel Orion towards the Moon. The European service module supported propulsion and power throughout the mission, even as engineers closely monitored earlier system concerns. Inside the spacecraft, astronauts used advanced radiation monitoring systems and carried biochips designed to study the effects of deep space radiation on the human body in real time. The journey concluded with the most dangerous phase, atmospheric re-entry. Orion entered Earth's atmosphere at about 24,600 miles per hour. As the capsule was surrounded by superheated plasma, the crew suffered a 13-minute communication blackout. Just imagine you and 4 of your friends, alone deep in space without anyone to talk to. That's what the crew experienced. The heat shield endured temperatures approaching 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit before the spacecraft successfully completed its descent and splashed down in the Pacific Ocean. And there you have it. Artemis II wasn't just a trip around the moon, it was a 10-day battle between human ingenuity and the harsh reality of the cosmos. We've proven the systems can handle the worst-case scenarios, and the path to a permanent moon base is now wide open. I'm your host for Bitewise. Promise, keep looking up and respect the risk it takes to reach the stars.